So we've copied over color and the various cat things. Now, as you recall though, the constraints, all the constraint properties are on the primitive level. The lines that connect the dots. So what we can do here now is say, okay, well, we have 2 points. What are they doing? They're connected by some line. You can even see how the color fades from purple here to this lighter color here, because it's 2 different points in 2 entirely different areas. What we can do is say, let's attribute promote. This is the lesson of 1,000 attribute promotes. Let's promote all of our cat stuff to the primitive based on something, some minimum. In the case of names of the cat constraint name, it will say what's less, glue or hard. In this case, glue is less only because G becomes before H in the alphabet. If we were promoting attributes that were numbers, then it would be even more obvious. It would just be whichever number is less. And so that's super great for us because we have all these lines, and sometimes the lines will span 2 different regions. We just set up this default one here, which was like everything, and then body, which overrode that. So the body has constraint name hard. You're going to get situations where there's going to be a constraint that, let's say, goes from this window frame here to the wall that's next to it. And they have 2 different constraint, I would call them preferred types. This thing, or let's say even more obviously the glass. Glass is brittle, so we use glue for that. But the glass also might join up with the actual bendy metal frame. So what does it get? Do we bind the brittle part to the bendy part with the glue or with a hard? Well, we just made a call here. Sorry, I keep pressing keys. We just made a call here to promote cats, go with whatever one's less. And I like that anyway. I think that glue makes more sense. So if a hard part wants to constrain to a hard part, well, they're both hard, so they'll become a hard constraint. If a glue wants to go to a glue, well, they're both glue, so they'll stay glue. If a glue and a hard are in a constraint relationship, then it'll just go with the glue instead. Let's see if there's an easy way to show you that. So here we are. So I could say, so by the time we get to here, let's make some debugging stuff. So I'm going to say, show me all of the cat constraint names that equal hard. Well, of course, we'll do delete non-selected. And here you go. As we would expect, it looks like we're missing an engine for some reason. I'll have to go back and check on that. But as we would expect, it's the body, which is because that's what we set it here. I'm going to make these yellow. We said for this to be hard. So I'll say ISO hard. This one, it will be ISO glue. So we'll see what that looks like. So here's all the glue stuff. So we can tell that it is in fact working. Now I am a little concerned about why we didn't get that other engine. So let me go all the way back up here again. I probably just don't have it selected here, and of course I don't. And you can really see how everything propagates down now. Oh, it looks like I got mangled here somehow. Let's get rid of that. And we'll just re-add it in. So we'll go back to our limbic paths. And there. Wonderful. So once again, I'm not even gonna save this as a new version. I'm just gonna save it, overwrite the old version, and we'll continue in a moment. All right, so if we come all the way down here, we should see that included in our hard constraints area again. And there it goes, and there it is. So now we have, these are all the hard constraints. Again, this is gonna be the bendy stuff in a moment. Great. So I wanna see, is there anything that's kind of straddling the 2 areas? And there's a bunch of them, it seems. You can see these ones that start green and go white, because remember, green was the body from before. So let's take a look at one of these before we did the promotion. So I'm going to say, there you are. Just going to isolate it. Just put it over here. Delete not selected. So there it is. If we look at him, we should be able to see we've got two different pieces, and sure enough, we have this piece apparently is from the body, as you see, cat name body, and it wants a hard constraint. This piece is from the everything else, which I guess we're going to call default. He wants a glue constraint. And it can't be both. So by the time it gets to here, we see it gets promoted to be a glue. It went with glue. If we were to say, do the maximum instead for some reason, you could see some things changed. And now it went with hard instead. So that could be up to you. I like minimum better. Not really a big deal. But that's what's going on there. Great, so you can see how it made that decision. And later, again, it will be even more intuitive when we're talking about parameters like strengths and breaking, thresholds and any things that involve numbers instead of strings, text. Cool. So you remember I said that we want the rest length to be 0? This is something, the rest length refers to the length along the constraint. We do want the rest length to be 0, especially for hard constraints and cone twist constraints and things like that. The glue, it doesn't matter so much, but with these it does. So let's ensure that even the actual literal length of this, never mind the attribute, but the literal length of it, let's do that too. So what I'd like to do is make a fuse. Right now, these lengths here, these things are all connected. Like you can literally see how the point goes to here. If I were to grab that one point and move it, everybody moves because all these lines are connected to that one point. What this fuse will do is, ironically, the opposite. If I go to unique, unique will say this line goes to this point. This line goes to a different point that happens to be right on top of it. So check it out. Now that that fuse is there, uniquing everything, if I click this, I can move it here. I can move this one here. So now you can see everybody has their own point that is in the same position, but technically speaking, they're not the same. So now every line is its own line. That's not necessary for the simulation to work properly, but it does make your life a lot easier when you want to, we want to basically make these lines shrink down to just their center. We don't want it to have any length. We want it to know which 2 points to connect and store along the line all the constraint stuff that we need to do. Scale down. But we don't want them to actually have any length. So I'm just going to say scale to 0. And there you go. Boom, boom. So every line just went to its center, essentially. So if we look here, and I just click on this one, I guess if I click this one there, you can see how every point now is in the center of the line. We have to use the unique first to do that. If we tried to do it without the unique, it would be, these two would condense to here, but these two would condense to here, so it'll end up doing kind of an average of the two. And anyway, it's not at all what we want. So just break up all the lines into their own primitives, and you can see it's the same amount of primitives, it's just a lot more points now. And there you go. So now it's all looks like this. It really doesn't look like anything. So you might be scared like, oh my God, where did my stuff go? But it's all there. You can click this to see them represented as points. But otherwise, no, we don't really see it. But it's fine. It's actually totally fine for the simulation. It doesn't really, it will actually make it run better. Again, especially for the hard and cone twist constraint stuff. It won't matter for the glue either way. Wonderful. So save that.